Well, that's not nice.
Well, anti-Joe Biden chanting has continued over the weekend at various events across the United States. Chants were erupting in crowds at the Mississippi State vs Alabama game on Saturday, the Braves vs Dodgers baseball game on Sunday, and even at a Luke Bryan concert. The Let's Go Brandon chant has also become popular over the last few weeks as another dig to President Joe Biden. It's in reference to the viral video that surfaced a few weeks ago of race car driver Brandon Brown partaking in his post-win interview at Talladega when the crowd began chanting anti-Biden slurs, but the reporter thought they were chanting Let's Go Brandon. Take a look.
Oh my God, it's just such an unbelievable moment.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go Brandon. And you told me you were going to kind of hang back those stages and just watch and learn.
The video became so popular that rapper Loza Alexander made a rap, Let's Go Brandon, which has now soared to #1 on the iTunes hip-hop chart.
Let's go Brandon. 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 Let's go Brandon.
There you have it. Let's go, Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go, Brandon. You know what they say. Can you believe they banned that song from the internet because it was getting too popular? Poking little holes in the most popular president of all time. More votes than Barack Obama. More votes than Donald Trump. But he can't fill a junior high auditorium where kids pack it out for a spelling bee. That is the one that they could get all their family to. 5 Indian families would pack out a junior high auditorium to see Unjali win the spelling bee. But Biden and Kamala Harris can't even get 2 Indian families to show up and support them. It's unbelievable. 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 All right, folks, how are we doing today? Tonight is not the right show. If you watch that, that's tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, I'm very tired, but this is the late night writing session series. That's where, as a traveling touring comedian, I need to come up with new jokes regularly, and it is not very easy to do that when the government is shutting down comedy clubs left and right. Why does the government shut down comedy clubs? Because it's a small business, and the radical government wants only big corporations. They want all of us to work for one of 5 companies. Just tattoo it on your forehead. The Walmart logo, the Amazon logo, Apple logo, Target, or Tesla. That's the goal. This way, if there's a mandate, they don't have to go door to door knocking on. Oh, hi, Valentino's Pizzeria. Did you know we have a mandate? All of your employees must be wearing masks and have 45 jabs in their arm, or they can't serve pizzas here. Hey, get the hell out of here. We don't want to hear your shit. We're not doing that. We're serving pizza pies, you son of a bitch. Who the hell do you think you are? And then they're like, ugh. They run back. Dr. Fauci, they said no. Well, here's what we need to do. If we can close down the small businesses, give them $600 every 6 months. This way, they can't say we didn't help them. Then, eventually, they will go out of business or lose their employees and have to work at one of 5 companies. Therefore, there will be no more independent thought. I don't have to go door to door to Valentino's and get my ass kicked. I will simply go to the CEO of Apple, Tesla, or, of course, Walmart. These are all very essential places, but not your restaurant. And then I will tell them to make your employees do this or they lose their job. This is the way to do it. I think that will work better. All right. And that's what happens. Therefore, they want nothing but robots. Thank you. Puss in Boots knows what I'm talking about. Zach knows what I'm up to. Tiffany Scarberry says, what is going on with your mustache? Thank you for asking. This mustache is to raise awareness for men's health. Men are supposed to grow out their mustache in the month of November. Manly men. Well, actually, now a lot of women are doing it too. But the point being, several of my family members have died due to various cancers that might only affect men. And so out of respect to bringing awareness to, we have Breast Cancer Awareness Day, month, year, decade, save this, save that, leukemia. But you never hear about men's health, and men make up 50% of the nation, and they die more often because they go to war, they do, activities that are a little more risky. So this mustache is to raise awareness for men's health and to do a positive thing, as well as make a small financial donation by the end of November. So anyone making fun of me in the comments, you're just mocking cancer and health and my family members who have all died. So thank you. Thank you for your jokes. Now, here we have my notebook. Comedians have these notebooks. I've lost more of these than I've saved. We're supposed to save them, and they're almost like gold because you can flip through them. And what I do is I'll write North Dakota. Here's my goals. Edit 20 videos, go to the gym every day. So while I was in North Dakota, I follow this. So it's almost like a diary, but not really. Then it's like, Philadelphia. And here's the jokes I did in Philly. So if I come back to Philly a year from now, I probably still have this notebook. It takes me about a year. And I can go, I told this joke, that. Let's switch it up for Philly. Because, these guys in Philly, they want them, they want their hoagies, and then they don't want to hear the same joke twice, So that's what we do. And so you want to mix it up so that they get their money's worth. But after 2 years, you shouldn't have too much crossover. So I only need to refer to this every year. The next year should be kind of new stuff. Especially if Dr. Anthony Fauci ever opens up the country and I can do more comedy shows and write more friggin' jokes. Cha-cha-cha. All right. Now, let's go to today. Last time we did this Halloween special writing session, it was awesome. It was awesome. But that was last week. This is now. All right. So, topics of the day. First of all, definitely do have a new mustache. As you know, it's to celebrate dead family members and help honor them and raise awareness for health. Someone said, Kate, you're awesome. Stephanie said, could you do more Dr. Fauci? I can't get enough of that voice. Stephanie, how would you like if you were on a date? Everything was going great. Dinner, drinks. I don't know if you're married, but I'm just assuming you're single. And gets back to your place. You're like, I don't normally do this, but you should come up for a cup of tea, And he's like, oh, no, thanks. I don't drink tea. You're like, coffee? Nope. Never had coffee before. Do you want to Netflix and chill? Oh, why didn't you say so? All right. Then you're on your futon. The lights are dimmed down low. The TV's blaring in the corner, right? And it's about to be romantic. And then right on the TV, we're closing down the country because we need more masks. If you're not wearing masks, you could be killing people. I don't wear a mask. Kamala Harris does not wear her mask when the cameras aren't rolling. And Joe Biden coughs into his hand as well as high fives everybody like a friggin' idiot. But you need your mask. And then his thing goes. You're like, what's wrong, baby? What's wrong? And he's like, that voice, that freaking voice. I can't perform when I hear that troll in the background. I'm out of here. Oh. And that would ruin it, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that just ruin the mood? And then Fauci comes back on. If your date has left you for the night, invite me over. I'm a doctor, and I'll come visit you and keep you very healthy. I wear protection. I wear 4 masks when we make love. Nothing down here, but 4 masks up here. All right. That could happen. That could happen. Mm-hmm. Someone said a date with Fauci. That would be great. Oh, could you imagine? Going on a date with Fauci as a woman, you're sitting there. He's like, And in 1982, that's when I decided it was time to get out there, mingle a little bit. So here we are, just like, shut up. I would kill myself. If I was a woman, I would kill myself. All right. Fauci is evil. Fauci brings his own syringe. All right, here we go. So we got the new mustache. Let's do some other important updates. My new movie comes out December 3rd. The trailer has dropped for it. The movie production studio hired a promo company to post the trailer on YouTube, and they have a couple thousand views. And on our post, Cave on Comedy channel, 5,000 views. Give yourselves a round of applause. How cool is that? We are doing better than a hired movie production platform. It's just really cool. That's the power of the Right Show and the late night writing sessions. We are killing it. December 3rd, the movie comes out. It's a romantic comedy. I did not write it or edit it. I lended my talents as an actor. Great cast, recognizable faces. Napoleon Dynamite is in there. Summer Balessa, who was, and if you've been following me for a while, I brought them on back in January, and you met all of them. I had John Heder on this live. The next night, Summer Balessa from Deal or No Deal. She was the one holding the suitcase, one of the many girls with the legs and okay, she's married. Let's not go there. And then there's Barry Corbin. If you don't know Barry Corbin, you better figure out who he is. He's got a mustache too. Barry Corbin has a deep voice. He's a Southerner. He was on Northern Exposure. He was the sheriff of that town. And he's a badass, even though he's 84 years old now. Very cool guy. One of the nicest. He's a legendary actor. He's worked with Clint Eastwood. He's worked with Sam Elliott, big mustache guy. And so, yeah, that's what's going on. Then there's Jason Gray. Jason Gray is a hilarious, he's kind of like the Jim Carrey of the Mormon generation. He's a Mormon Jim Carrey, if you will. Very, very funny guy. In fact, he was so busy working on another project that he wasn't even there with us. He was not there with us for the first 2 weeks of filming the movie. So we all became friends. We all hung out. We had many lunches. And then here he comes. New guy. But luckily, he's a celeb. Now, John Heder is a celeb. Napoleon Dynamite, legendary. But we went walking in this neighborhood, and these girls were like, oh my gosh, no way. Oh my gosh. They came running. Now, you have to understand, it's me. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the youth are running to come meet me. They're way out there. Here they come. I'm the most famous half Persian comedian in the world. And you could tell John Heder was like, that's what you think, buddy. Napoleon Dynamite, Blades of Glory. I'm kind of an icon. There's GIFs with me on it doing my dance. They're coming to see me. And the girls fell to their knees and grabbed the legs of Jason Gray. 7, 8, 9, 10 girls and their little brothers. Oh my gosh, why are you in our neighborhood? What are you doing? And then me and John were like, oh boy. We better get our YouTube numbers up again. All right. So there you have it. Very cool. So that movie will be very fun, and I hope you enjoy it. We're going to do a movie premiere December 1st on the red carpet. Woo! Then it will release in 16 theaters and streaming on the same day. So I think December 3rd is the day where it goes. Now, what's funny is a Thanksgiving meal. The movie is centered around Thanksgiving. So I guess it's kind of like leftovers because you will have already eaten. You will not want to see. I wanted the movie to come out a week before Thanksgiving. Truth be told, wasn't up to me. It's just the way these platforms work, where they've already picked their slate of movies, and we did not qualify the week before. It's Thanksgiving, so we're going out December 3rd for a Thanksgiving dinner movie, and but that means we're going to get a whole nother run at it next year for Thanksgiving, where people would not have really seen it maybe, and we're like, oh, cool, a new Thanksgiving film just in time. So there we go. It'll still work out. Don't worry. New jokes I'm working on. Tonight's a writing session. Let's get to it. Help me write some jokes. Let's answer John Johnson's question. John Johnson's question. Who is the best stand-up and or sketch comedian ever besides yourself? Well, I'm glad you put that in there because you knew that the answer would have been. So now I have to actually think. But to me, George Carlin was the best stand-up comedian. And Bill Cosby, believe it or not. George was clever and poetic and moving and grooving, and his memory was crazy. You have to watch. He starts one of his comedy specials with all the slogans you've ever heard. He goes, I call this bit advertising. And if you act now, hurry up, don't wait, don't be late. We take cash or credit. You'll get your money back, guaranteed. No money down? Why? But listen, I just ran out of things to say. Yo, this guy is 70 years old. He goes for 4 minutes. Quick pain relieving, fast acting, slow moving, hurry down. But he goes, does anyone know what I'm talking about? Now, Richard Pryor, people say Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor is not the best stand-up comedian. And he is known as the greatest stand-up comedian. And he was good at going up there and talking about his life. And he has very funny moments. But to me, it was a little sloppy. Motherfucker, I was like, hey, Jack, look at you, motherfucker. I slap a bitch and I shot my car. Well, of course I shot my car. Hey, Jack, if your car making a noise, you take a boom and you shoot the car. If you like it, fine. I'm not going to begrudge you for loving Richard Pryor. 70% of the world will say you got it right. I think you got it wrong. Cosby had funnier stories and better pacing. And he could do an hour and a half, 2 hours. And George Carlin had way more range. Voices, sound effects, anger. Dude, he'll do a thing about where do I put my stuff? You got to see that. Type in George Carlin, where do I put my stuff? Type in George Carlin, the 10 Commandments. Type in George Carlin. I mean, he has iconic bits that each one is just a 5-minute vignette that fit for a museum. Richard Pryor is street talking, having fun. Man, my wife, I'll tell you what, boy, I'll slap her and I'll shoot her, boom. Just, okay, there you go. Now you want to talk about the newer comics. Sinbad is one of the funniest comedians ever. Mark Curry, hilarious. We're talking these guys, they don't get we all know the name Chappelle. We all know that. So that's your stand-ups. Check out Sinbad live. You will not be disappointed. Obviously, everyone knows Chappelle, Cat Williams, and those guys are great. They're very great. Sebastian Maniscalco, great. Joe Coy, very funny. But the people, I like to highlight people you probably haven't heard of, thought of as hilarious. Sinbad. I worked with him, killed it. And yeah. Now, Joan Rivers, funniest female comedian, I think, ever. I can't think. You could say Lisa Lampanelli, but her thing is a shtick. Like, look at the gay guy right there. I know about you. I could come over there and punch you in the gay guy. It's like that, which is very funny. But Joan had more range where she was like, oh, darling, look, here's what you do. Here's what you do. Listen up. Get in close. If you don't know what to wear, go naked. The men don't mind. The men don't mind. And her pacing was just really funny. All right. So there you go. Now, a lot of people like Joan, hopefully. She was so funny until her dying days, Okay, now you talk about sketch shows. In Living Color had so many, less budget than Saturday Night Live. Those were the guys who couldn't get on SNL. They go to the show called In Living Color, and they smoked it. Think about the people who came out of In Living Color. The little brother show that kind of didn't get any attention. SNL, Chris Rock, and we got Will Ferrell and Robert Downey Jr. was on there, as well as Adam Sandler, Dana Carvey, Steve Martin. All that you go back, Chevy Chase was on there regularly. George Carlin was the first host ever of SNL. Very interesting. Who am I missing? Well, we love who plays Zoolander. Ben Stiller obviously was a SNL guy. So they were all like, that was varsity, man. Those were the cool kids. Well, this scrappy little team on Fox called In Living Color, you can do what you want to do. I'm going to do this for TikTok. In Living Color, in Living Color, right? That show produced David Allen Greer, Tommy Davidson, J-Lo, which back then it was just, hey ho. And you know who came up with that joke? Jamie Foxx. You know, he do the Wanda. Okay. Oh, hell, I'm going to rock your world. Jamie Foxx was hilarious. So talented. All the Wayneses were on that show. And who could forget Jim Carrey, who went on to become, at that time, the highest paid actor in the world from that little show. Right? I know my history. I know my comedy history. And these young kids on TikTok who claim to be comedians, first of all, half of them are using my comedy clip and just mouthing the words. And they're getting 2-3 million subscribers. They're headlining like these comedy clubs using my clips and 5 other comedians' clips, putting on a freaking fake mustache, everything. It's unbelievable. The wife is vacuuming, telling my joke, and they're getting famous, whatever. But I know my comedy history. I know where comedy kind of came from, where it's headed, smack dab in the middle of it. You guys are following the right show. SNL, we all know SNL stands for Sorry Not Laughing. I know half the cast members on SNL. I saw them audition. I sent in my audition tape. They picked them. It seemed like the bigger victim you were, the better chance you have of getting SNL or The Daily Snooze with Trevor No Laughs. There we go. Damon Wayans, Jim Carrey. Oh, look at this. Jones says, I had breakfast with George Carlin when he was a guest at the Hyatt. Oh, man, he was nice and respectful. Very cool. Dana Carvey. Belushi, of course. Belushi, Chevy Chase, and Bill Murray. Come on, guys. So SNL has had their heyday. But, yeah, that was it. And then Key and Peele are amazing sketch actors. So if we're talking about presently, Key and Peele, for me, are the best out there right now. Of course, Monty Python was before, I think, SNL, or at least I liked them better. British, intelligent humor, very quirky. They had that movie Life of Brian. They were a sketch group, but they came up with Life of Brian, and then they came up with another, The Holy Grail. Monty Python, The Holy Grail. Probably one of the best comedy movies of all time if you're in the mood for it, especially on the budget they had. So funny. They couldn't even get horses, so they said, what if we do coconuts? He goes, we have been riding for 2 weeks to get here. You're not riding. You don't have any horses. What are you saying? We have been riding for 2 weeks. Open up your gate. We'd like to come in. Permission to ride in. You're just banging 2 halves of a coconut. If you don't let us in, we will attack. Go ahead. You can attack. Very funny. You guys probably don't even know what I'm talking about. All right. Let's get to the jokes, folks. These are the jokes. I have been rambling, but having a good time. This is what you do. This is what Dave Chappelle does. Lights up a cigarette. Well, what do you guys want to talk about? That's what we're doing right now. Red Skelton. I had a friend growing up. His parents were very, very rich, and his grandparents had 4 original Red Skelton paintings in his basement. Very cool. All right, Rodney Dangerfield. Well, Rodney was not famous for most of his life. He was a failed comedian until he got old enough to, hey, I get no respect. The other night, a girl told me, come over, nobody's home. I go over there, nobody was home. Hey. So I was an ugly kid. Oh, my mom used to hang sausages around my neck just to get the dogs to play with me. Hey, no, I tell you what, Benny Boom Butts. All right, very funny guy, but he was not. You know what? He had a great character and legendary, but he wasn't the greatest of all time. No way. Can't do it. but I'll put them up there on the top 10. How about that? Okay. I'll tell you what, every one of those comedians is better than what Netflix is bringing you next. Netflix next is pushing the hot new transgender, the hottest new comedian to ever come from Ethiopia with one leg, the hottest Finland comedian to ever drown and get resuscitated. Really. So we're going to have to watch out for that. Okay. Little something fun about me. As you can tell, it's late. I'm getting very tired. You can tell I'm Persian. I have these Gucci bags under my eyes. That one I've been working on. Some of you might have heard it already. I just did a show for a bunch of Republican women in South Carolina. Had the best time. But it was so cute. The women all had different hats, and they glued little logos and little flags. They had the shirt with they put a little elephant on there where they bedazzled it. So all these clothes. I said, man, you ladies look good. Where do you guys get all your wardrobe from? Hobby Lobby? Where do you get your formal wear from? Michael's? You are all wearing red, white, and blue on your shirts, your hats, your pants, your brooches, your fanny packs. It looks like Captain America just puked on the whole audience. So that's cool. Think of any more funny jokes about a bunch of women who crafted their own clothing, and I will try to add to that. I'm thinking of arts and crafts stores where you would never buy. Honey, we have a wedding coming up. Do you think we can get down to Hobby Lobby in time? I want to make some red, white, and blue clothes for the bride and groom. Look at these ladies. Hobby Lobby rocks. I want to get my clothing there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Now, how much has time changed? I know I have some viewers that are over the age of 30, and I want to know, what is the most precise way you can explain how times have changed? What is the most drastic way in a very short 2 sentences that you can show people how times have changed? I'll give you an example. Nowadays, kids are wearing masks, helmets, and having rolling backpacks, waiting for the COVID vaccine so they feel safe. In my day, we went down a metal slide into some gravel. You didn't wear a helmet. When you fell off your bike and hit your head, that's how you remembered to balance better. And instead of a vaccine, if somebody got chicken pox in the neighborhood, your mom would say, oh, great, I'll send Kayvon right over. That's what we would do. So this is what I'm giving you as a premise. How can you explain how times have changed in just 30 years? 20, 30 years. I'll give you an example. Nowadays, kids are sanitizing their hands for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You ever looked at a little kid's hands now? They look 80 years old, little 80-year-old freaking senior citizen hands. I'm like, you're supposed to have little kid hand. You got the hands coming. I'm like, oh God, they look like Benjamin Button hands. Sanitize 3 times a day. Let me tell you what we used to do. We used to play 3 words, the McDonald's Playland. We would swim in the balls, and nobody sanitized those balls. Those balls are the reason we're healthy to this day. We would swim in balls. And you know how hard it is to swim in balls from one side to the other? And your mom would be like, get out of there. You're like, come on, Mom, 4 more laps. You know, the balls smelled like urine, boogers, puke. And we would swim in those balls. That's how we got our exercise. And childhood obesity wasn't a big problem then, because we would swim in balls and then ride a bike with no helmet, hit our head, and get back on. Now the kids, they're in a gerbil ball running around a penned-in kitchen. That's how times have changed. Let me see what you guys got for me. We made mud pies and drank from a hose, swam in the lakes with the snapping turtles. You're right about that. Mud pies, you just get some dirt and then you pour water in it and just laugh at how it looked. That was like a game. Now they got the iPads. We just had a game called Mud Pies. And we'd make dirt clods or whatever it's called, dirt clots, I don't know. And we would throw them at each other. You get a nice powdery one, but you add some water, so it's like a snowball fight with sand. That's what we would do. And every once in a while, you put a little rock in there if you didn't like the kid. Like, oh, this one will go a little faster. Bing! Ow, my eye! Well, now you'll learn to dodge it. You'll learn to dodge it now. All right, John Johnson throwing in some cash, so now I have to do what he says. That's how it works. You throw in some cash, that's what I do. I work for tips. Like those dueling piano bars. I switch gears. So if someone throws in a bigger tip and says, don't talk about what John Johnson is saying, then boom, I get to stop immediately. That's what we're going to do right now. But for now, John Johnson holds the floor. Talk about how you got on Disaster Date and how it ended. All right, I went on an audition for Disaster Date, and it's a show that's like a dating show, but the girl on the date does not know I'm an actor. She thinks she's just going out with a regular guy. And each week, they would give me a different task. This week, you're a kleptomaniac. You're going to steal items. So you like salt and pepper shaker. You're like, I don't think they need this. And you just wait till your girl gets angry. Goes, I'm out of here if you keep stealing these things. You know, the centerpiece, they want us to have it. So fun. A gym trainer 1 week, a Jersey Shore guy 1 week, a guy who wants to become a mime. You know, we would do all this stuff, right? So I go in for the audition for this, and my idea was to go in like a nerd. And this is actually a great story. I'm glad you asked. I go in like a nerd. They're like, and I went in character. I went in there. I'm like, hi, I'm here for the head glasses, the Disaster Date audition. She's like, oh, you are? I'm like, I'm Kevin Mosey. Oh, we thought it was Kayvon and Kevin Mosey. Yeah. All right. They send me in and they're like, what would you do on a date? And I said, oh, I would, well, first of all, saving money is really important. So I would have a coupon ready. And also I would tell the girl to please be careful. Just go easy on the budget because this is our first date. I don't really know you. And they were like, okay, thank you for coming in. And I took off the glasses and I unbuttoned the shirt. I go, all right, cool. So you want to see my other characters now? And they were like, oh, okay. Yeah, we could see one more. Because they're ready to kick me out. I was like, yeah, okay, let me do the other one. This is a guy who's kind of like Dane Cook on a date. My impression of Dane Cook on a date. I'm like, yo, what's up? Let's party. Are you partying tonight? Let's go. Let's do this. And I kicked my feet up on the dinner table. And the audition person's like, you're supposed to have your feet off the table. Like, whatever, they don't care. I'm a rock star. So what are we getting into tonight? And they told me, we'll let you know. I drive home and I found out I was hired. And here's what they told me 5 months later after we finished the first season. We almost kicked you out and we're like, we were looking for a guy, their words, not mine, who's kind of handsome that could play these characters. You came in so nerdy, we were done with you. And then so you almost blew it, buddy. And in their mind, I almost blew it. But in my mind, I did it perfectly because they wanted me gone. And then when I switched gears, they didn't realize that wasn't really me. I had won them over. And so in their mind, they're like, yeah, you almost blew it, but you fixed that. I go, no, I actually did it perfectly. So that was a very interesting and a cool angle. Instead of coming in, because imagine if I came in, hey, I'm Kayvon. Okay, here I go. You shouldn't use that. No, I'm going to use a coupon. It might work, but I wanted to just trick them from the beginning. And that is the goal of Disaster Date. How convincing can you be and trick the date for comedy effect? Yes! Thank you for saying that. I was trolling people before trolling was a thing. And I still do troll them. Still do. All right. My next one I'm going to tell you guys is how things have changed in just a few decades. Here we go. In the 80s, if you told a woman she had a big butt, she would slap you. In the 2020s and beyond, you tell a girl, hey, you got a big butt. She's like, thank you. Isn't that funny? We went from, excuse me, to, you think so? I'm trying to get it caked up. I've been working on it. Hey, thank you. There you go. Now, The next jokes involve transgenders and a few other things. So what we have to do, unfortunately, is we have to move it over to Rockfin. I had fun with you guys and my YouTubers. Please tune in tomorrow. We have The Right Show. Also, this coming week, I'm in Brea, Houston, Nashville, then Las Vegas, Miami, DC, prefer Versace. All Philly hoes wearing Moschino, every cutie with a cootie and the booty. Woo! All right, so I'm going to Rockfin right now, and I want you guys to join me over there. And this is where I'm going to be because YouTube has throttled me. They've put a governor on my channel. I can't get past 335,000 views because they saw that my voice was getting big. My comedy is biting. It doesn't, I'm not a little leftist. I go hard and I don't, someone calls me a racist after one of my jokes. I go, I'm not racist. I'm Persian. Persians can't be racist because we are the biggest minority on earth. We're such a minority. Half the people say, there's no such thing as Persia. Imagine if half the nation said, what do you mean you're black? There's no such thing as black. Then they would feel pretty victimized, wouldn't they? Because everybody knows 100 black singers, 100 black basketball players, 100 black football players, 100 black actors. They've seen a black president, a black vice president. They've seen a black police officer. Fire. There's not a single thing in the world you haven't seen, but they continue to maintain they're the victims and the minority, and they're not. And then Persian, by far the biggest minority, and I get attacked for my jokes and say I don't exist. And even Persians are like, you're not Persian anymore. There is no Persia. Because you don't like Joe Biden, you can't be Persian. We all think the same way. And all these stupid things. So I am by far the biggest minority on earth. And so the left hates that because, damn it, we can't cancel him. We want to call him a Karen, but he's a K-Von. God damn it. So there you have it. So I hope you guys will all go over to Rockfin so I can do my transgender jokes, which are even funnier than Joe Biden's. And then I will see you guys on The Right Show tomorrow, where we will not get canceled because we will keep it Facebook and YouTube classy. Because that's what they expect. They expect you to keep it safe, a safe space. See you tomorrow, YouTubers, or go to Rockfin right now and we can finish this thing up. That's what I prefer.